So when I began looking for topics to talk about this week, I decided to go a little bit outside my norm. Last couple of weeks, we've been talking about bounty hunters, assassins, and a guy who has a toilet bowl on his head. Thank you, Suicide Squad, for that joke. Anyway, so today I thought in part one of our secret spies and cops, we're going to go through Jack Reacher. So I did watch the first couple episodes of the show recently, and I felt that the guy that they got to depict was actually right. And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Tom Cruise movies. I mean, Minority Report was probably one of my favorite ones for the last little while. But when you cast a guy who's only 5'7" and the character's supposed to be 6'5", you know you did something wrong there. So with that, welcome to Ultimate Mayhem, week number 6, and part 1 of what I'm calling Spies and Assassins Edition. And this is Jack Reacher. My name is Ro Convo. So the TV series Reacher on Amazon Prime, thoroughly recommend checking it out. Been one of those ones that's been enjoyable. Follows book 1 of the series. So there's probably 7 or 8 different books. I may actually be a little bit off on that. Known as Killing Floor, to the extent that it follows it the best it can. The movie was a standalone feature. Um, the second movie was a kind of a book movie, but it was still terrible, which received quite a large amount of criticism from the fans because of the height of Tom Cruise. The author at the time agreed with the casting of the character, but later disavowed the information on it, basically saying the fans were right in the first place and we should have picked something different. That is why when they did the TV series, they picked Alan Richardson to play him. If you've been watching Titans recently, the guy who plays Hawk on Titans, or if you're a big Smallville fan, you will recognize that name as Aquaman or Arthur Curry in this case. Both the movie and the show have the same starting point. We meet Jack traveling on a bus. In this case, in the movie, he was traveling to Pittsburgh after a shooting spree on a bridge happened, killing 5 people, and the man they believed it had was in custody. The other one, the show follows the book a little bit better, as Reacher is taking a bus to town in Georgia, where he's arrested for murder, basically found in a local diner eating a meal, and then revealing that the man that they said he killed was in fact his brother Joe. Another note in the movie about the movies and the show, there is a little bit of discrepancy as to the birthday of Jack Reacher. In the book, it's October 29th, 1960. In the movie, supposedly, it's October 18th, 1974, so about 14 years and 11 days too early, or too late. And on the show itself, the character looks like he's supposed to be born in the 80s. So that's sometimes why you find when you're reading a book, you're reading a comic, or you're reading a graphic novel, or even watching TV, you find that the books do a lot better with the adaptations because you're getting the actual story. So with that, let's go into a little bit about Jack Reacher. Our hero, Jack Reacher, was born on October 29th, 1960. He was born in Berlin. His father was a Marine and his mother was a homemaker. Reacher is the youngest child of the family, and he had an older brother named Joe, who died 4 hours before Killing Floor began. So in the research I've done, Joe dies before the book even starts, so he's already dead when you come into the book. As his father was in the military, it was not uncommon for Reacher to move frequently as a child, and as such, he grew up on different American bases around the world. So they always moved around. They obviously could be transferred at any time, and Jack grew up on different bases across the world. Reacher and his brother Joe were always the bigger children who got into fights frequently, and Jack tends to remember him being more aggressive of the two. So when Jack comes in, he's always the more aggressive between the two of them. The two brothers often did not get along, but even fought sometimes, as one of Jack's scars on his head where the result was a result of the disagreement they had. You know what? It's always like that, though. Brothers always fight or try to fight, and then the mom will come and break them up. I mean, when I was a kid, same thing. I mean, I always argued with my younger brother, but even then, he was more feisty of the two of us. After his brother went off to West Point, Jack and Joe fell out of contact. So After his brother went to the the academy, yeah, the two of them didn't even talk. Jack did 13 years of service for the U.S. Army in their military police division. He got his education as to be an officer at West Point, the same as his brother. So after his brother went, Jack went as well. After he graduated, he was brought into the service as a second lieutenant. So we say lieutenants, the Americans say lieutenant. You can pick one and you decide which one. He did several tours in the service, including Lebanon and Iraq. Jack had been quickly promoted to major. Now he's basically gotten promoted really quick. He went through the ranks, obviously worked hard and got promoted really quickly. But when he basically assaulted a civilian, he got demoted back to captain. After that, he worked really hard and got himself back to major right before he retired. So he retired from the military and got himself promoted back to major before that. During his time in the military, he received numerous awards and medals. He earned 2 Silver Stars, the Defense Superior Service Medal, 2 Legions of Merit, the Soldier's Medal, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. So the Purple Heart is a medal given to people who are wounded or killed in action for their valor. After spending so much time in the military, Reacher had finally retired. He did not really have anywhere to go, so he began wandering across the entire United States. Only with those very few places that he liked, he did not stay in one place for very long, and hence why we see him on a bus during the movie and the show. So when you meet him in the first time in the movie, he's really lying on a bed somewhere, we don't know, but he gets on a bus and goes to. But in the show, meet him on a bus, and then he kind of appears in a diner, and yeah, he gets arrested. So that right there, my friends, is Jack Reacher, the man, the myth, the legend. It's a solid, sweet introduction, as I hope that you will watch the show after watching this. I'm only 2 episodes in personally, and I'm loving the look of them. I'm also loving the fact that this show is actually interesting to watch. I mean, the guy that plays him really would eat concrete for breakfast if you really. But I digress. It's a fun little show, especially when they try to get him in zip cuffs, and then he just breaks out of them. So yeah, they had him in zip ties at one point, and just yeah, okay, enough's enough, and just snap. So let the multiverse guide you and be your eyes and ears to new things. My name is Rogue Convoy, and this was Spies, Assassins, and Police Part 1 edition of Jack Reacher. So next week, we're going to be, or a couple days maybe next week, we're going to be talking about something very extreme. We're going to go extreme ways. What does that mean? Please tune in and find out. Like and subscribe.